Well, good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Wawrzyniak. My background is approximately 35 years in the education business, and what I mean by that is I started out as a high school teacher teaching science and physics and chemistry. I've graduated from that to teaching ICT in high school, university lecturing. I then became a consultant in the public system in New South Wales and Australia. I went from that to the Catholic system. My last job there was to be the ICT training manager. This year I've started with Sentral because I'm absolutely enthralled and committed to the fact that we should be supporting education as much as we can. One of the biggest problems we have in education now, and it seems to me almost everywhere we go, teachers are drowning in administration. They're spending so much time on paperwork of some nature, there's hardly any time left over to help their students improve their learning outcomes. Sentral software is the only package I've come across which seems to save both the teachers and the administration staff a lot of time in schools. And for the first time, teachers can press a button, get the information they need about their students, and then have extra time up their sleeve to actually improve the learning outcomes of a student. Biggest challenge has always been in schools I've come across is there's always been someone who wants to drive the ICT change, and the major pitfall they have is often they do not plan properly. And what I mean by that is they don't put together a plan which encompasses everybody in the school community to go along with them. Many mistakes are made along the lines of someone's going to say, well, they'll have a great idea and they'll implement something in the school, but no one else in the school really understands why it's happened, how it's supposed to work. You've got to take time. You've got to make sure all the teaching staff and the administration staff understand what they're doing, where they're heading, why they're heading there in particular, and how they're going to get there. If you do that, and that doesn't happen in a month or two, that's a 6-month to 12-month process. And unfortunately, many people want to do things straight away. They're so enthusiastic, they can't wait. But then tens of thousands of dollars are wasted because nothing happens, nothing changes. It's too easy for a teacher to close the classroom door and just do the same things they've always done, even though they might have, as an example, 30 computers sitting in there, but nothing's changed. You've got to be able to help them move on from where they are to help their students face the new world, basically.
Okay. So besides planning, of course, I've heard having an early lead time as a tip for people, for educators who want to embark on e-learning. What is another tip like you like to give to educators who are interested to roll out e-learning techniques, e-learning programs, but they're facing other challenges?
Aside from the time and the strategic planning, you've got to actually still have a solid core of about half a dozen people, at least in a secondary school, maybe 8 or 10. In a primary school, 3 or 4, depends on how big the school is. They're the ones who must know intimately what are the new ways of doing things. Because teachers are very good at teaching, if I can call it that, but if you come along with a change which you say will help them get better, but they're saying to themselves, but why do I need to get better? My students are already doing great results. Somehow you've got to get the information across to them and help them understand that our modern world now requires our students to come out not only knowing about science or mathematics, but how it applies to the modern world. Because our world's just changed so dramatically. And unfortunately, many teachers started teaching quite a few decades ago, and they may not have actually kept up with how things have changed.
Okay, so this question will be about your company. So will you share with me how can your company's Sentral Education's products and services benefit educators in Malaysia, and will you be able to share with us who are your clients at the moment?
Biggest benefit I'll start with, Sentral Education itself is a package which has got lots of little modules throughout it, all of them addressing various aspects of the day-to-day routine of a school. As an example, everyone does attendance and marking the roll. Depending on the schools you go to, some still use paper, some use spreadsheets, etc. This does it electronically. Our modules are linked to one another. So as an example, I've talked about attendance very quickly then. You may be using Markbook, which is a hand-based type bit of paperwork. Some people might use a calculator, other people might use spreadsheets. If you do it electronically, our data is taken immediately out of the attendance module. The class, it recognises you might be talking about a 3A class or a Year 12 physics class. It'll take the names out of there, put them into the markbook automatically. You set up the markbook, it'll do the calculations for you, so it gets away from the teacher making manual mistakes. It'll also take the names, put them into the welfare package, so you can keep track of any medical issues, any discipline issues, positive and negative. It'll put them back into our welfare profiling software package. So if a principal gets an interview or a phone call with a parent saying, why is my child doing badly at maths now for the last 6 months, they can call up a summary page which shows straight away, your daughter's doing badly at maths because for the last 2 months, somehow she's always been sick when there's been maths periods. She's in the sick bay. We can collate all that information at a drop of a hat very quickly. The beauty of this is, and the challenge is always in schools, is how do you write a report card for a student, whether it's once a semester, once half yearly, yearly. There's always challenges. If you've not been involved in writing report cards, teachers are always in a hurry to do it. They always make mistakes. Best of intentions, there'll be grammar mistakes, spelling mistakes, it just goes on and on. The software package will pick up all of those mistakes and fix them automatically in the background. So I might be writing a report about you and I'll write the word he has done something. The software package will recognise I'm talking about a girl, it'll change it to she automatically. So anyone that has to check the report cards, it's cut all that extra double handling of work out. The parents get a fabulous report back because it lists not just academic, it lists anything the child has achieved in the school for school functions. So they might be part of the drama team, the sporting team. It'll list all of that down there. It'll give them graphs of how they're achieving in literacy, numeracy, for instance, as an example, or anything else that you wish to have in there. We've introduced a student portal and a parent portal as well, so students now can interact with their teachers 24/7 if they wish to. Parents can read-only access, but they can get in and have a look at how their child is performing in school. They don't have to wait for a report card. They can immediately see, oh, my daughter, as I said before, isn't doing well in maths for the last 2 tests. What's going on here? They could ask the question. So our world's moving to, maybe the teachers don't like it, but the reality is they're going to have to be addressable 24 hours a day, 7 days a week almost. How they handle that is a new challenge that everyone has to face.
Right, okay. So I'm sure your programs are being used in schools
Yep.
in the world and Asia. Are you able to share with us who are your client profiles? Or any particular countries are using a lot of the solutions currently?
We're based out of Sydney, Australia. All of our clients at the moment are in Australia. We have 65,000 staff members using the software across 1,200 odd schools. We are K-12 at the moment, although there is a lot of interest from universities for the attendance module. It makes no difference whether you're a public school, a Catholic school, an independent school, or international school. Everyone can use this software, and we've got schools right across the board using it. It's interesting how many schools have other packages they use or disparate software packages, and all it takes is one look at the software package. They almost hit themselves over the head and say, why haven't we ever used this before? We've been in existence since 1999 and we've grown in leaps and bounds. I have to say at the moment we're probably one of the most foremost wanted packages in Australia, and we're looking at sharing that resource across Asia. That's one of the reasons why we're here.
Okay. So how has it been? How has the event been so far for you? And do you have any specific objectives in participating at this show so far?
The conference itself has been fabulous. We came with a preconceived idea of we're making this effort to share this software. We're not going to come just for 2 days. We're here for a week's time at this point in time. Already we have had not just single schools, but we've had systemic interest from numbers of countries. Numbers of people have booked us up for demonstrations as of even tonight. They want to see how this can apply to them. We've already talked to them in regards to whatever syllabuses they have, whatever requirements they have in their country. We can work out methodologies of how that can actually help them improve their learning outcomes for their students. One of the biggest things we've got is this company is backed and basically built up from the ground by teachers. All of us came from a teaching background. We know what schools need. We don't need a commercial company, which is what we grew up with, telling us this is what you should be using. They don't work. Our software is not only driven by educationalists, but we can actually tailor our software to the individual school. Every school that gets our software comes back to us within a period of, I suppose, 4 to 6 weeks and say, can you change this little bit for us because our school needs to have the following thing done. Our programmers then put that in for that school. No one is forced to do something they don't need to do or get something they don't need. We'll change something and support them. We have a helpline which at the moment operates for approximately 12 hours a day. Depending on where we go to, we're happy to include that across the greater hours.
So I reckon that the event has been great so far for you. I saw that your booth was pretty crowded.
The event has been fantastic for us in regards to people wanting more information, wanting to meet with us. If anything, as you said, the booth has been crowded to the point where we've got almost too many interviews, but that's fantastic. That's what we're here for. We don't mind working like that.